call this meeting to order at 6:03. Roll call.
Nereida Cantu present.
Mary Hernandez present.
Armin Garza present.
Espe Ochoa present. Dr. Science, I do declare a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. Today we have Anthony de Jesus Montemayor, who's going to be leading us in the pledge. Anthony is a 5th grade student at William J. Clinton STEM Elementary. He is the son of Ms. Viridiana Reyes. Anthony serves as a representative of the campus as the ambassador and member of the Superintendent Student Roundtable. Throughout his elementary years, Anthony has excelled academically as an A honor roll student and has earned many recognitions. Anthony has competed and placed in UIL events such as math, number sense, maps, graphs, and charts, and the Torneo de Ortografía. In past years, he has also been part of Clinton's Battle of the Books team. Anthony developed a love of reading at a very young age. He earned the Oscar Award in 2018 for being the top reader in 3rd grade, and in 2019 for being the top reader in 4th grade for the whole district. This school year, he has already read over 3,500,000 words. His goal is to reach 5 million. He is fond of T. Sutherland's Wings of Fire series and Suzanne Collins' Hunger Games. His passion for Greek mythology was sparked by the Rick Riordan series, Percy Jackson and the Olympians. He hopes to write his own stories one day and become a published author in the future. Let's welcome Anthony as he leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, one indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Anthony's parents, please stand so we can recognize you. Thank you, Anthony. You did an amazing job.
We will now go to public comments.
We have Nadia Santiago. Excuse me, Noelia.
Ms. Santiago, at this time we would like to remind you and all speakers that will be coming forth that your comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Our board attorney will keep time. You are to deliver comments in a professional and courteous manner. You may not mention any names, and you are expected to comport to board policy BED local. Any questions?
Not that I can think of.
Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Noelia Galvan Santiago. I am a parent of Camarena Elementary, and just to give a little background, I moved to La Jolla ISD when now my 16-year-old daughter was starting her 3rd grade. Right now I have 2 sons at Camarena Elementary, and I have a 3rd grader and a 5th grader. And my 5th grade son, Camarena is his 3rd elementary school, and he's with his 5th principal. And he hopes to finish the school year with this last same principal that he's enjoyed having the last 2 years, and that we all have enjoyed having the last 2 years. With that, I'm just gonna read a little bit of what I wrote before I came here. And I'm not only speaking for myself, I know there are other parents here that feel the same way as I do. So I'm gonna speak in terms of we. we want to inform the school board and administrators that we are in the understanding that our principal from Camarena Elementary is contemplating and leaving the school and the district for an opportunity to receive a higher salary. At this time, we are asking the board and school administrators to consider offering her a competitive salary to meet or exceed the offers from other schools. Our principal plays a key role to the development and success of Camarena Elementary and its students. And although some may feel this is a personal matter that only she can decide upon, we beg to differ. Our children are a personal matter. And whatever or whoever is involved in their personal growth and education is a personal matter to all of us, as parents and as community members. Amongst all of us, we are an integrated system. We work together, play together, teach together, and grow together. And our principal is a leader in this integrated system.
1 minute remains.
We work together, Together we coalesce to raise our children. We are a family. It is through this network of school professionals that we have met and exceeded and been recognized beyond the local community as we saw Camarena Elementary be recognized and rise to distinction. We just ask that our principal be offered a competitive salary to meet or exceed the offers of other schools. We believe she is worth it and deserving of it. We want La Jolla ISD to not only have the funds to secure an expensive ad during the Super Bowl or funds for a water park, but most importantly, that La Jolla ISD be known for having funds to provide its schools with the needed materials to improve the educational experience and the funds to competitively secure the positions of its teachers, coaches, janitors, staff members in general, and its principal leaders. We appreciate your reconsideration and look forward to keeping our beloved principal. Thank you. I read a little quick there to meet the time limit.
Time is up.
Thank you. Crystal Conchas.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Viviana Conchas. I'm a 5th grader at Camarena Elementary. I'm here to share with you the many reasons why the principal is the best and is needed in our school. I started Camarena in 3rd grade, and within those years, the principal has impacted in my life in many ways. For example, she motivated us to become power readers, to be kind, love one another, to work hard in our assignments and sports. In December, when she was sick, our school did not feel the same. For example, the morning announcements weren't the same. The music that the principal always plays was not there. So I can't imagine how the rest of the school year will be. I will miss the part, always remember the principal loves you. Another thing is the principal made Camarena the #1 school and also the best school. The principal has always rewarded us with many things. For example, the water park, plays, she even took the power readers to Austin, and even more. My principal is a great leader and role model to all of us. I would be sad to see her go. I love the principal and hope she can stay. The principal is worth keeping. Thank you.
Thank you. Edith Sanchez, parent of Elisa Sanchez.
For the record, Mr. Cantu arrived at 6:12.
Good evening. Good morning, everyone. My name is Elisa Sanchez, and I'm a 5th grade student at Camarena Elementary. I'm here to say some reasons why I would not want Ms. Garza, the principal of Camarena Elementary, to leave. First of all, she is very kind and fun for all the prizes and field trips she gives us. And with all the announcements and other things, everybody loves her. And with all the STAR tests and everything, she gives us all the stuff we would want, and that's why we love her. And we're really happy happy to make her happy when she says she loves us every morning. Everybody in the school, including the staff members, always say they love her, and she always rewards everyone with prizes and everything. And those are the reasons why I love the principal from Camarena Elementary. Thank you.
Ms. Sanchez, I have another form for Andrea Sanchez.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrea Sanchez. I'm a fifth grader at Camarena Elementary. I know that my principal might be leaving early instead of in a few years. I just wanted to say that my principal has been the best principal ever. Every student in my school knows that she loves us like her own children. We know she works so hard for us. I am so grateful to have a person in my life like her. I do want her to say so that no one will be sad, no one would lose such a lovable person. I love her like a second mom. She cares for us. She feeds us healthy food. She gives us free clothes for the school. I know that my principal will leave later on, but I hope it's not so soon. I know we can be a great school with her. She gives us the best teaching by having the best teachers. I want my principal to know that all her staff members, students, and students' parents love her and care for her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to approval of tax collector's report. Can I entertain a
So
motion?
moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor? Those against? Motion passes. Approval of minutes. Regular call meeting, January 22nd, 2020. Can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Meet and greet of January 22nd, 2020. Can I entertain a motion?
So move on items 2 and 3.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
To have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Superintendent's report?
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. The first item on the superintendent's report is the enrollment report. As of February the 18th, 2020, we had 13,164 elementary students, 14,245 secondary students, for a total of 27,409 students, which is 384 students less than last year at this time. The next item on the superintendent's report is recognitions. And if I could have Ms. Espi Ochoa, Board President, and Mary Hernandez, Vice President, do the first three recognitions. We'll begin with the first one. The first one is recognition of boys and girls regional and state qualifier student athletes in swimming, diving, and Special Olympics state bowling team members from La Jolla High School, Juarez Lincoln High School, and Palmview High School. And our athletic director, Victor Garza, will do these awards.
Thank you, Dr. Science. Madam President, Dr. Science, board members, I come before you, and community members, administration, I come before you with great pride and honor to present our Special Olympic participants. We had a total of 50 young men and young ladies that represented La Jolla ISD athletics at the regional and state level. All of them had some kind of medal won, and we're very honored today to present them to you, to the community, in their great achievements and endeavors. And we'll start with our Special Olympics from La Jolla High School. La Jolla High School had 19 athletes, 17 advanced to state, and we start with 4th place in a ramp division, Ms. Victoria Villarreal, senior. Junior, 4th place, Joel Ortiz. Freshman, 4th place, Dalisa Davila. Bronze medalist, senior, Diana Grimaldo. Bronze medalist, freshman, Gael Gonzalez. Freshman, silver medalist, Marlene Cristobal. Silver medalist, senior, Raul G. Hernandez. Gold medalist, senior, Ramp Division, Carolina Campos. Senior, gold medalist, Cristina Torres. Senior, gold medalist, Oscar Solis. Senior, gold medalist, Christopher Bermea. Senior, gold medalist, George French. Junior, gold medalist, Diego Garcia. Sophomore gold medalist, Francisco Salinas. Our head coach for La Joya High School, Leobardo Ramirez. He is assisted by Alex Ramos. Edna Garcia. Brenda Garcia. Lee Palacios. Eva Aguirre. Suhey Chavez. And the campus leader at La Joya High School, Mr. Antonio Cano.
Thank you, Miss, for all you do. Congratulations. Congratulations. Miss.
We present you La Joya High School Special Olympians champions.
Congratulations.
From Juarez Lincoln High School, they had 15 participants, 12 advanced to state. We start with 4th place, Jose Marquez. Ramp Division, bronze medalist Guillermo Garcia. Guillermo's a senior. Freshman bronze medalist Elias Luna. Senior bronze medalist Yesenia Mora. Junior bronze medalist Kevin Rios. Sophomore bronze medalist Abigail Villarreal. Silver medalist, freshman Juan Pablo Rangel. Senior, silver medalist Rosalba Montano. Gold medalist, senior Brian Zavala. And freshman gold medalist Ashley Llanas. Head coach for the Mighty Huskies is San Juanita Guajardo. Rosaura Gonzalez. Reinaldo de Anda. Fernando Salinas. And the Husky leader, Mr. Ricardo Estrada, principal.
If we have parents of any of these students, please stand so we can recognize you and thank you for your support, parents.
Our Special Olympians wanted to make a quick announcement, if I may. They wanted to invite the community, administration staff. They will be having a competition February 29th on basketball skills competition at Pioneer High School from 9 to 11. We will be hosting a Special Olympic swim meet at LJISD Natatorium on March 13th at 9 a.m. Area 1 track and field meet in McAllen Football Stadium, April 24th, 25th. And of course, in May, we'll be sending many of them to state in San Antonio, April 30th and May 3rd. We welcome, we thank you. Thank you for the support. These are the Juarez Lincoln Huskies Special Olympians. Dr. Science, we will be presenting our Palmview High School Special Olympians on March 11th. They had a lot of them that had a lot of already commitments, so they've asked if we can reschedule them. So we will be bringing them to the community March 11th.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Coach Garza. Next, we have recognition of Texas Association of Future Educators, TAFE, sponsor Vanessa Brown from Jimmy Carter Early College High School.
Swimmers. Sorry, we still have the swimmers and the divers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
We're good. A couple of weeks ago, we had our competitions at the regional and state level, and the following student athletes participated and advanced either towards the regional or the state competition. First, from La Jolla High School, junior, in the 200 freestyle and the 200 medley relay, Modesto Caro. I'm gonna put a quick stop on this. You're gonna be honored today. I'm gonna announce you twice. Palmview Swimming is the one that's gonna be presented on March 11th. My apologies. Special Olympian Lobos are here.
Okay.
My bad. I'm going to announce you twice today. You're going to get up. Sorry. I apologize for that. Palmview High School had 18 athletes, 17 advanced to state. We start off in the ramp assisted division. Freshman Dana Mendoza, 6th place. Sophomore bronze medalist Juan Tony Guerrero. Ramp bowlers, junior, 8th place ribbon, Dulce Elizondo. Senior, bronze medalist, Francisco Paniagua. He'll be right here in a minute. Freshman, 3rd place bronze medalist, Ana Lucy Salinas, freshman. Freshman, 8th place ribbon, Carlos Jaramillo. Senior, 7th place ribbon, Angel Salazar. Senior, 7th place ribbon winner, Anayensi Esquivel. Senior, 5th place ribbon winner, Saul Cruz. Silver medalist, senior, Gabriel Villarreal. Senior, silver medalist, Berenice Martinez. Senior, 3rd place bronze winner, Adriana Vera. Freshman, 3rd place bronze medalist, Carmen Arriaga. Qualifier, John Corona. Hector Alfaro. The Mighty Lobos are coached by Coach Michelle Contreras. She's assisted by Lizette Bazan. Over here. Ms. Julie Gonzalez. Ms. Melba Garza. Tanya Mercado. And representing the Mighty Lobo Special Olympics and Administration, Ms. Lisa Cano.
Will the parents of these students please stand and be recognized? Thank you, parents.
Once again, these are the mighty Palmview High School Lobos Special Olympic State Champions. Thank you. Now we'll proceed to the swimming and diving. Regional state qualifiers.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations, ma'am. Thank you.
Once again, from La Jolla High
There's
School,
still more athletes under the same,
200 freestyle, 200 medley relay,
there's still more.
Junior Modesto Caro. Sophomore,
Congratulations again.
7th place at regionals in diving, 200 freestyle, 200 medley, Alexander Ramirez. Junior, 200 medley, 200 freestyle, Diego Rosa Salas. Freshman, 200 freestyle, 200 medley, Ethan Zamora. Freshman,
Congratulations, ma'am.
10th place in regionals, diving, member of the 200 freestyle relay and a medley, Brooke Pruitt. Sophomore, part of the 200 freestyle and medley relays, Paulina Caro.
Congratulations.
Freshman, 200 freestyle relay and medley, Delilah Hernandez.
Congratulations.
Senior, 200 freestyle and 200 medley relay, Carlin Villegas.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Our diver, bronze medalist at regionals, 3rd place at region, ended up at state, got 23rd. Excellent diver. We really enjoyed him. Alan Castillo. Diving head coach, Coach Mark Bullard. La Jolla High School varsity head coach, Frank Figueroa.
Congratulations. Will the parents of these students please stand so we can recognize you and thank you? Congratulations.
These are the mighty Coyotes swim team and diving members.
For the record, Mr. Salinas joined our meeting at 6:27 p.m. Our
next group will be Juarez Lincoln. Senior, 200 freestyle, 400 relay, Alia Aguirre. Regional qualifier. Senior, Juliana Briceño. Regional qualifier.
Congratulations.
Senior, 200 medley relay, Jose Chavez Sr. Fifth place in district in diving, and he's also in the medley relay and the 400 relay. Regional qualifier, Kevin Cruz, sophomore. .200 free relay, 400 free relay, Josue Dominguez, regional qualifier. 200 medley relay senior, Roberto Gonzalez.
Congratulations. Felicidades.
200 medley relay, 200 free relay, 400 free relay,
Congratulations.
Miguel Lazo. Senior, 200 free relay and 400 free relay, Azalea Pequeño. And their head coach, Coach Robert Guerrero.
Congratulations.
These are your Husky regional qualifiers. Dr. Science, Madam President, this concludes the athletic presentation part.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. For our next recognitions, if we could have Mr. Admin Garza and Alex come too. And we will do recognition of Texas Association of Future Educators sponsor Vanessa Brown from Jimmy Carter Early College High School. And we have Mr. Jorge Flores, CTE Director, to do that presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Science. Good afternoon, Madam Board President, Dr. Science, members of the board, and community members. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize a teacher from our Education and Training Career Cluster. The following teacher teaches South Texas College dual credit education and training courses at Jimmy Carter Early College High School and is also an active advisor for our Texas Association of Future Educators, also known as TAFE. This teacher is Ms. Vanessa Brown, and from Jimmy Carter Early College High School, and she's being recognized this afternoon because she was selected as the 2019-2020 TAFE Region 1 Teacher of the Year. So we are so proud of Ms. Brown and fortunate to have her teaching our CTE students with an interest in becoming future educators. Ms. Brown, thank you, and keep up the great work. Much appreciated.
Congratulations, Ms. Brown.
Next we have, excuse me. Thank you and congratulations. We now go on to recognition for Mrs. Laura Solis, Instructional Supervisor at Benavides Elementary, for being selected at the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association Assistant Principal of the Year for Region 1. Ms. Magda Villarreal, Assistant Superintendent for CNI, will do this recognition.
Good evening, Ms. Board President, Board, and Dr. Science. This evening, I have the pleasure of recognizing Ms. Laura Solis, Instructional Supervisor over at Benavides Elementary, for being selected as the Texas Elementary Assistant Principal of the Year for Region 1 by the Texas Elementary Principal and Supervisor Association, also known as TEPSA. The organization recognizes leaders who exhibit strong educational leadership skills and commitment to excellence and exceptional support towards students, family, and community. We are very proud of Ms. Laura Solis. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Stay there. Next, we have Imagine Learning Language and Literacy Texas, Imagine Your Future State Contest winners. And Marta Castillo will help us with these awards.
Good evening, Ms. Ochoa, Board President, members of the board, Dr. Science, Assistant Superintendents, and members of the audience and community. This evening, we would like to recognize our La Jolla ISD elementary campuses for earning awards in Imagine Learning, Language and Literacy, and Imagine Math contests. These ongoing contests encourage the maximized use of Imagine Learning programs. Thanks to La Jolla ISD partnership with Imagine Learning, now every student, parent, and teacher can learn on the go and on any device. Today, we have Thelma Garza with Imagine Learning, who is here to recognize these winning schools and their principals.
Thank you and good evening. We will start with our Imagine Your Future Schools of the Month contest. In this contest, the top school of the month is awarded a trophy and school supply certificate. The awarded schools are selected each month by achieving the highest average of active students spending at least 80 plus minutes on the program. The following schools have been awarded for the first semester. In October, Language and Literacy, Dr. Palmira Mendiola Elementary, Principal Alicia Gutierrez. In October, our Imagine Math pre-K through second grade winner is Evangelina Garza Elementary, Principal Maria Flores Guerra. Also in October, for the Imagine Math 3rd through 5th grade program, JFK Elementary, Principal Mary Guerra. For November, Imagine Learning, Language and Literacy, Diaz Villarreal Elementary, Principal Yolanda Meave. November, Imagine Math Pre-K through 2nd, Rosendo Benavides Elementary, Principal Dr. Romeo Benavides. November, Imagine Math 3rd through 5th, Evangelina Garza Elementary, Principal Maria Flores Guerra.
Congratulations.
December, Imagine Language and Literacy, William J. Clinton Elementary, Principal Alma Perez.
Again.
December, Imagine Math, Pre-K through 2nd, Dr. Americo Paredes Elementary, Principal Erika Gonzalez.
Congratulations.
And December, Imagine Math, 3rd through 5th, again, Dr. Americo Paredes Elementary, Principal Erika Gonzalez. These are our monthly Imagine Math winners. Imagine Math and Language and Literacy. Thank you.
Congratulations, principals.
The next contest is the Level Up with Imagine Español. In this contest, active schools that utilize Imagine Español for 6, 8, or 10 hours were selected to receive a school supply certificate, and the following schools have been awarded. For Level 1, 6 plus average hours, Ibi Reina Elementary, Principal Lucina Lara. JFK Elementary, Principal Maria Guerra. Henry B. Gonzalez, Principal Sylvia Sandoval. Evangelina Garza, Principal Maria Flores Guerra. Rosendo Benavides, Principal Dr. Romeo Benavides. Level 2, 8 plus average hours. Dr. Americo Paredes, Principal Erika Gonzalez. Dr. Palmira Mendiola Elementary, Principal Alicia Gutierrez. Diaz Villarreal Elementary, Principal Yolanda Meave. And our Level 3 winner with 10 plus average hours in Imagine Español, William J. Clinton Elementary, Principal Alma Perez.
Congratulations.
These are our Imagine Español winners.
Miss Irma, ¿cómo estás?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cantu and Mr. Garza, for helping us with these recognitions. For our
Thank
next
you. We have one more.
recognitions, and I
I'm
can-
sorry. We have
Oh,
one
I'm
more
sorry,
award.
one more.
I'm sorry. We have the last recognition is the annual Texas Imagine Your Future statewide contest. So this is a contest that is held statewide. This past November, Imagine Language and Literacy challenged students, classrooms, and schools to maximize their literacy practice and reading comprehension in the annual Texas Imagine Your Future statewide competition. We're excited to announce that the top school in the whole state of Texas that embodied the Imagine learning spirit and took their school to the top of the state was JFK Kennedy Elementary of La Jolla ISD. Woo! So JFK, they received a school-wide awards assembly and a school supply certificate and an exclusive Imagine Your Future commemorative certificate. And close on their heels, guess what? We had the top 2 schools in the state. Second place was William J. Clinton Elementary of La Jolla ISD. So we are very proud that La Jolla represented the top 2 schools in the state of Texas. So congratulations to all of these campuses. Thank you, principals, for your tremendous dedication to ensure students at La Jolla ISD are successful.
Congratulations, principals. Thank you, Mr. Cantu and Mr. Garza. It will have now Mr. Salinas and Ms. Nereida Cantu help us with our next recognitions. And the next recognition is recognition of Texas School-Ready Comprehensive Personnel. And we have Ms. Alma Ortega, Executive Director for Elementary Schools, that's going to conduct this recognition.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, Ms. Ochoa, members of the board, Dr. Science, Superintendent of Schools, members of the audience, and our community. This evening, I would like to take the opportunity to recognize the partnership between La Jolla ISD and the Hidalgo County Head Start, the Community Development Institute, CDI, and the Texas School Ready Comprehensive Project. This year, La Jolla ISD has formed a partnership with the Community Development Institute. Together, this year, we are currently serving 81 students among 3 centers. These centers are located in Alto Bonito, Mission, and Alton. La Jolla ISD has stationed 1 teacher alongside the CDI teacher at each one of these locations. La Jolla ISD has also been in collaboration with the Hidalgo County Head Start program for 4 years. This partnership was developed during the 2016-17 school year. The goal of the partnership is to work together to serve pre-K students to ensure their social and emotional well-being and a strong early childhood educational foundation with strong community services. La Jolla ISD, together with 5 Head Start centers in our community, is currently serving 575 pre-K students. A Head Start teacher and a La Jolla teacher serve these students daily. La Jolla ISD has 18 teachers among the 5 Head Start centers. Serving as CDI teachers and owners and managers are from Alto Bonito, Yadira, Loredo. Serving in Alton, Olivia Ortiz. Serving in Mission, Delia Cedillo. The Hidalgo County Head Start managers, and also part of the Texas School Ready program from La Jolla, Marisa Guerra. From Palmview 2, Cynthia Gonzalez. From Palmview 3, Elizabeth Gonzalez. From Sullivan City, Idolina Rivera. From Western Road, Mariana Garcia. Working with this Head Start managers is our principal, Yesenia Gonzalez. La Jolla ISD has also been working with the Children's Learning Institute since 2016, and currently the Texas School Ready Project personnel, we serve a radius of a 50-mile radius. We serve 16 child care centers. We serve 11 Head Start centers for a total of 27 participants. Of the 27 participants we serve, 2 centers are in Edinburgh and 1 center is in McAllen. From Joaquin Castro Head Start, Marina Gonzalez. From La Jolla Head Start, teacher Sofia Flores. From Fisher Kids Academy, owner Maria Silvia Perez. From Imagination Express Learning Center, Nereida Cantu. And her teacher, Cristal Alejandra Delgado. From A&M Children's Learning Center, Alexandra Flores. With us this evening is Ms. Cani Casas. She's Head Start Administrator for Education for the Hidalgo County Head Start. Also with us is Karina Larios, Head Start Education Area Director from Hidalgo County Head Start. Unable to be with us is Ms. Raquel Montalvo. She serves as a coordinator for this program. And Ms. Belinda Olivares is the coach for this program. Thank you, Madam President, Ms. Ochoa, members of the board, and Dr. Science for the opportunity to work with this program to ensure our students are kindergarten ready. And I also understand that there might be some corporate personnel in the audience. If so, would you please stand and be recognized? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ortega.
I'd like to say, before we go on, to everybody that's involved with TSR, I commend you. I commend our ELA department for supporting our Head Starts, our daycare centers. I know it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of requirements that need to go into place, but thank you so much. I know our students are going to be ready for kinder because of you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. Next, we have recognition of La Jolla ISD Texas Citrus Fiesta Float Committee members for placing second place at the Fiesta Award General Category Space Odyssey Adventure Float Competition. And Ms. Blanca Cantu, PR Coordinator, will do this recognition.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Science. I'm here on behalf of the committee for this Texas Citrus Fiesta Parade. In an effort to promote our district and showcase our district, we participated in this year's Citrus Fiesta Parade, and nonetheless, we had a committee, and that committee did come home with second place in their float, so I do want to recognize them this evening. I know some of our members are here, not all of them, but I still do want to recognize every single department that came together for this effort. We have Ms. Norma Garza from Migrant Education Program. Mr. Victor Garza from Athletics and Sports Learning Complex Director.
Thank you, Norma.
From the CNS Department, we have Ms. Rosario Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Also from the CNS Department, we have Ms. Leonor Perez.
Thank you.
From the CNS Department, we have Ms. Irma Perez. From our Facilities Department, we have Mr. Mario Flores. Also from our Facilities Department, we have Mr. Roger Hernandez. From our Physical Plant Department, we have Mr. David Ochoa. And from our J.D. Salinas Middle School, we have Ms. Isabel Ortiz.
Thank you.
Ana Molina. And Ms. Nelly Tapia. I do want to take the time to, if there is any directors on the audience from the following departments: our migrant department, our risk management department, our principal from J.D. Salinas, Ms. Nidia Ortiz, the director from Print Shop, Ms. Alma Salinas, our athletics director, Ms. Corina Peña, principal, the CNS department, physical plant director, facilities department, police department, TV station, and of course, public information. Thank you so much to each and every one of your departments for helping out in this endeavor. Congratulations, and there's a trophy for second place up there too.
Congratulations and thank you.
I do have some photos to show our Citrus Fiesta float. I believe it.
Missed out.
Very excited with second place up there. And our actual float.
Ms. Cantu, Mr. Tony Salas.
Thank you all for your work in showcasing our district. That concludes the superintendent's report.
We will move on to discussion. Discussions on the 2019-20 school year in addressing the use of illegal drugs in our campuses.
Good evening. My name is Jose Luis Morin. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Student Services. And first of all, we want to thank you for allowing us this time to share and discuss the current initiatives that are in place in La Joya ISD to address the use of illegal drugs in our campuses. This will be a two-part presentation. I will be presenting on the initiatives on the initiatives that the district is working on, and Chief Gonzalez will be presenting on the initiatives coming from the police department. Okay. We currently have 3 substance abuse counselors, 1 at every high school, and this is in addition to our regular counselors and administrators. At Palmview High School, we have Ms. Cynthia Enriquez. At Juarez Lincoln High School, we have Ms. Graciela Gonzalez. And at La Joya High School, we have Adriana Villarreal. And these substance abuse counselors are the ones that work with our most severe cases, students who are having issues with substance abuse. Aside from that, we have our counselors who also conduct classroom guidance lessons regularly. We also have our family and community engagement coordinator who invites presenters to educate our parents when it comes to having their meetings. They want to make sure that the parents are also educated on the signs of substance abuse. Some of the activities that we have throughout the school year are, for example, our Red Ribbon Week, which is in October, which helps us in educating our students at every single level, at the elementary, middle school, and high school level. during that Red Ribbon Week and also during career days throughout the school year, we invite other law enforcement agencies for presentations to allow our students to get more information. On January 30th, the Student Services Department and Chief Gonzalez met with the high school principals to discuss additional anti-drug initiatives. You all received a copy of these initiatives that were implemented after that meeting. And that included training for staff, training for parents, and training for students. I know we have a list of the different trainings for each individual group, but just to mention, for the staff, we have ongoing training for teachers and counselors, or by the counselors. For the parents, we have trainings that cover topics such as anti-violence, gangs, anti-drugs, divorce, suicide, prevention, mental health awareness, and preventing depression. For our students as well, we have our behavior specialists that prepare professional development for counselors on mental health and substance abuse prevention. These specialists also mentor and guide our Tier 3 students. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to Chief Gonzalez, who will be doing the second part of the presentation.
Thank you. Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Science, members of the community, La Joya ISD. We are privileged to have a police department, and one of our focus is to support the educational process of every child that comes to La Joya ISD. So first and foremost, we have police and security officers who are trained, and we continuously train in how to identify the trends of the drugs that are coming into our schools. Obviously, we do enforcement, we do prevention, so we have police and security personnel. The second thing that we do is within the department, we have canine officers. We have 3 canine dogs, and the canine dogs and the officers randomly go to different places and do random searches in hotspots. So recently, after our meeting with the principals, they requested that we do at least 2 random searches at every high school every week. So we're working on that. One of the things that I directed the staff to make sure that the students know that the dogs are on school grounds. So after they do the random search of the hotspots, make sure that the dogs are seen by the student population around their school, so that kids can understand and know that if they intend to bring drugs to school, that there's a probability that they are going to be detected by our canines. So we have that. We continue to have training with the campus administration, with the campus behavioral directors, so that we can train them on how to deal with some of the issues of dealing with drugs at our schools. Our partnerships with state, local, and federal agencies is also very important. Anytime that we get a case that we believe that we need outside assistance so that they can do a follow-up investigation out in the community, we have those partnerships. We continue to have our school community safety task force that we meet so that we can discuss with the principals, with counselors, with community members, issues that we're dealing with in our schools with drugs. Recently, last 2 years ago, we started the Parent Police Academy, and in that was intended so that the parents can understand and know all the things that we're doing in protecting the kids in our schools. And one of the topics that we talk about is we talk about the drugs in our schools and how we need their help and how we need to make sure that they get involved with their kids. Part of the academies, we extended that to the staff. So anytime we have in-service, we have an academy and we invite the staff to come over and also get some of the training. And a lot of times what we realize is that even the staff may not know some of the drugs that they need to be looking out for and some of the signs when somebody is under the influence. So that has helped us, and we will continue to do that. We also started a student police academy. The same thing, we're trying to train the kids so that they can go back and tell their classmates, these are the things that are going on, you need to stay away from them. The most important program that we have in our police department is the La Joya ISD Campus Crime Stoppers. We started that program in 2002. We are the only school district in the Rio Grande Valley that has a certified program. And the reason that's important is because anybody in the county of Hidalgo that is on probation, that pays a probationary fee, we get a percentage from that probationary fee. And those monies we're able to use to pay rewards for students who call in Crime Stopper tips. And since 2002, we paid over $72,000 to kids who've called in, and unfortunately, kids have gotten arrested, and we've been able to try to identify some of those things, some of those kids that bring drugs to school. The other thing about that program is that we're able to apply for grants. Recently, members of the program went to Odessa for a conference, and we got some new ideas and some strategies of how we can improve our program. And one of the ideas that we're gonna venture on is we have a phone line where people can call in anonymously and give us information. But as we know, everything now, kids have apps, Instagram, different programs. So we are applying for a $21,000 grant, and we submitted the grant today, so that we can buy software where kids can anonymously give us information about kids that are bringing drugs to school. So that's a very important thing that we're doing, and today we submitted the application. We have an anonymous alert, part of the district. Some kids use it, but we've noticed that they don't get a reward, so they're not giving us a lot of information on how to identify kids that bring drugs to school. Then obviously the surveillance system that we have at every campus, the buses, we go back and look at the surveillance systems, and we try to identify the kids that are exchanging drugs with other students. Later on in your agenda, this is the biggest initiative that we're gonna work on. Later on in your agenda, you have two things. Number one, you're gonna have a memorandum of understanding. We're gonna be the first school district police department that's gonna partner with a Hidalgo County District Attorney's high-intensity drug task force. They have agreed that they will allow one of our police officers be assigned to the task force. And this is what's gonna happen. So, a student gets arrested for possession of drugs. That person that we hire, that investigator, is gonna come in, brief with a student that gets hired. That investigator is gonna go and do a criminal investigation outside the school property. So, we are going to do home visits. And part of the home visits is to extend our investigation into where the drugs are coming. Why is that important? Because I know that most of the resources that we have, we use them to protect our kids inside the schools. But with this initiative, we're gonna be able to tap into agents from other agencies who have more experience, who have the technology to do surveillance, to go and work on search warrants. So this is gonna be very impactful. So if parents need to understand that if their child gets arrested by La Joya ISD, and if this gets approved, the initiative that we're doing is now we're gonna go out to your house. We're gonna knock on your door, pay a visit, search the house, give us consent, and if we find information that maybe there's drugs there, probably get a search warrant. So there may be other people getting arrested, not just the child. So this is part of the initiative that we're doing. And this is gonna be something that we're gonna be working on, and again, those two items under the agenda, the memorandum of understanding, and obviously the FTE request, and we wanna start this initiative next school year, because then we have to get a vehicle and get the training and all those things. So that's the initiative that we're doing. One of the things that Dr. Sines and I, we discuss is that we do a lot of things, and a lot of times the community doesn't know all these things that we're doing, and a lot of the information that's available for them to report to us and how they can get involved. So by the end of next week, we've already sat down with the Public Information Office. By the end of next week, we're gonna send out a mail out to all the parents in our community about all the initiatives that we're doing, all the initiatives that we have, all the programs that we have, so that they can be aware and get involved and making sure that they call us so that we can try to curtail the drug problem in our schools. Bottom line, that's what we're working on. So these are some of the things that we're working, and we're always looking at another initiative. Recently, I'm part of the District Police Chiefs Association, and the next thing that we're gonna do is there is a company out there, and we're gonna do a test run as the District Police Chiefs Association. There's a company out there that you're able to buy technology and a software to detect the vaping, when kids are vaping in school grounds. Okay, so right now it's in the beginning stages. This company says that they're able to do that, so we're gonna try it out. We're gonna look at it. If we see that it does help us, that's a probability, and there's a grant for it, so that's the other thing, and because that is the biggest thing that we're having, and that information was just shared with us this week through the District Police Chiefs Association, that there's this company that says, we're willing to help out. We found a technology, we found a software, we found something that can help you out, because our K-9 are not able to detect those vaping items. So that's the other initiative that we're gonna be working on. So again, as a school police department and as your police chief, our responsibility with everybody in our school district, it's a shared responsibility. We want to make sure that we protect the safety of and the welfare of every student, and we're always looking for different initiatives and different ideas on how to deal with this situation. Thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions or comments? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
I'm glad to hear that you're initiating, looking out for more grants to empower your department.
Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
The second thing on discussion items is report for reading diagnostic test results for beginning of the year and middle of the year comparison.
Good evening, Ms. Board President, board members, and Dr. Science. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity. My name is Claudia Estela Muñoz, and with me are Kathy Pulido and Veronica Chavez. We are coordinators from the Language Arts Department. The purpose of the presentation today is to comply with Section 28.006 of the Texas Education Code, which requires that students in kinder, first, second, and seventh grade be administered a diagnostic assessment. The law also requires that the superintendent reports results of the assessment to the school board. In elementary, the Texas Primary Reading Inventory and the TEJASLE are the highly reliable early reading assessment tools we use in kinder, first, and second grade. We will now proceed with the reports.
Good evening. We will focus on the column on the right, which indicates the 2019-2020 middle of the year data. The middle column represents beginning of the year data for comparison purposes. In Kinder TPRI, the data at MOI indicates that 46% of the students were developed on all phonological awareness tasks. In the graphophonemic knowledge, 88% of the students were developed, and 82% of the students were developed on listening comprehension. In first grade TPRI, 75% of the students were developed on all phonological awareness tasks. In graphophonemic knowledge, 83% of the students were developed, and the comprehension average was 58% developed. In second grade TPRI, 37% of the students were developed on all graphophonemic knowledge tasks, and the comprehension average was 68% developed. We will now proceed with the TEJASLE data, our Spanish language assessment data. For Kinder TEJASLE, 48% of the students were developed on all phonological awareness tasks, 78% were developed on all graphophonemic knowledge tasks, and the listening comprehension was 68% developed. For first grade TEJASLE, 74% of the students were developed on all phonological awareness tasks, 56 were developed on all graphophonemic knowledge tasks, and the comprehension average was 66% developed. In second grade TEJASLE, 55% of the students were developed on all graphophonemic knowledge tasks, and for second grade comprehension, the average was 69% developed. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Veronica Chavez, Middle School Language Arts Coordinator. I'm presenting data for the seventh grade students, current seventh grade students who failed their STAR reading assessment in sixth grade, and this is required by our Commissioner of Education, that we screen students and we place them in the correct courses in seventh grade. So 816 students were assessed at the beginning of the school year. We begin with a reading inventory, and we basically measure their vocabulary and comprehension. If they're scoring a Lexile level below a 600, we proceed to assess them with the phonics inventory, which is going to look at how they're doing with letter recognition, decoding, sight word recognition, and nonsense words. The first assessment, as I mentioned, was a reading inventory. We have 816 students that were assessed with this particular assessment. 704 landed in the below basic level, 99 at the basic, 13 at proficient, and we had 0 at the advanced level. So once we saw that they had a need that was greater beyond comprehension and fluency, we assessed them with a phonics inventory. So the results of that are as follows. The district has 788 students that were assessed with a phonics inventory. 187 were pre- and beginning decoders. 401 were developing decoders, and 200 were advanced decoders. So with this data in mind and we use multiple data points. So this is not the only assessment form of assessment that we use to measure where students are at. We have about 4 or 5 points of data, and we use that to determine where they're going to be placed. So first of all, if a student is struggling, we put them in a System 44 course with a reading specialist, and they're charged with the responsibility of working on phonics, vocabulary, and fluency. If students finish System 44 and we see that they still have a need and they're still not reading closer to a 5th grade level, they continue now with Read 180 Universal with the reading specialist. Students that are above an advanced decoding status go with a Reading Quest elective, and they're with a language arts teacher, and their focus is different. Their focus is vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension at a higher level. And this is pretty much what we're doing in middle school. We have the best teachers in the district. We're all committed to making every student a proficient reader. Administrators have set other initiatives in place, and the Curriculum and Instruction Department is right by their side, right along teachers and with students, and of course administrators, to make sure that we meet our goals. So by the end of the year, we hope to report really positive scores, and we're going to get to the goals that we've set with Ms. Villarreal and the executive directors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ELA coordinators, and thank you, Ms. Magda Villarreal.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the hard work. I know it's hard. We'll go on to consent agenda.
Also move.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Madam President, under tab A, contracts, item 1 through 9, I'd like to make a motion to approve all.
I'll second on that move.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. We will go on to business and finance, approval of contract evaluation matrices.
Also move.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. We'll move on to under business and finances. We are now on item number 9, a public hearing on the application of La Jolla Wind Power LLC. It is now 7:22 p.m., and we're opening up this portion of the meeting as to Chapter 313 of the Texas Property Code as a public hearing for purpose of appraised value limitation of qualified property.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. And we have Mr. Kevin O'Hanlon that's going to speak to us on this item.
Madam President, members of the board, Madam Superintendent, before you tonight are a series of action items which we'll talk about in a minute involving La Jolla Wind Power LLC and an application to create a new wind farm within the district. They're seeking a tax limitation agreement under Chapter 313 of the Texas Texas Tax Code. You're familiar, the board's familiar with these provisions. You've granted these in the past. Let me summarize briefly what's involved in this. And if Ben, can I get you to hand out these? This project is approximately $210 million. It will involve 79 2.2 megawatt turbine generators and 7 3.45, which are a little larger turbine generators that will be installed within the reinvestment zone that's previously been created. There is a tax limitation agreement on this of $20 million, which is set by law. The company proposes to create 6 qualifying jobs. To do that, they're going to require a waiver, which is on the agenda for tonight. The waiver is requested because these are not super labor intensive. They are when you're building them, but not when they're being operated. The new qualifying jobs will have to pay in excess of $40,000, almost $41,000 a year. With respect to the other action items on the agenda, we are asking that you adopt the findings of fact. The findings of fact are supported by a controller study and our certification that all of the requirements that are required under the Texas Tax Code, Chapter 313, have been met. And that the draft agreement, which is similar to the previous one that you've executed, is in the best interest of the district. We're also asking that you grant a waiver, and the fourth item that is on is that the superintendent granted a temporary extension of time in order to get to this meeting because the rather short 150-day time limit. We're asking that you approve the superintendent's extension. That extension is specifically authorized in your board policy, district policy, CCGB local. Just briefly, if you look at the documents, I'll run down this quickly. The district will experience what I would call a technical loss of, as a result of this project of $4.8 million. That's not a real loss. I'll come back and explain that in a minute. In addition, the district will pick up, because it's a 50-50 split, $6.8 million in supplemental payments under the agreement. If you add the $4.8 and the 6.8, it's about $11 million benefit to the district. When I say technical loss, and this is new since the last time we presented it, we presented an agreement to the board. As you're aware, when the Texas legislature adopted House Bill 3 in the last session of the legislature, they went from prior year values to current year values as a part of how they're going to finance public education. When they did that, because of the way these agreements work under the old law, you got to tax new value for 1 year for free because it wasn't on state values. It wasn't counted in state values, so you got the benefit of it. When the legislature went to current year values, you lost that advantage, not just for 313 agreements, but for any property values that go on the district's tax rolls. The reason why they did that was they wanted to pay for compressing tax rates. That was the governor's plan in terms of doing that, and that was how they were going to pick up additional revenues. Well, that created a problem for districts and expectations under 313, so the speaker, who had a number of 313 agreements in his House of Representatives districts, put in a provision as a part of the conference committee that says for purposes of calculating the loss under 313 agreements, we're going to go back to the old system, which says we're going to use prior year values, which by calculation creates this calculated $4.8 million loss. It's not real in terms of lost revenues. It's not money that you would lose, because when we went to current year values, then you wouldn't have gotten that advantage. But now, because of the change in the statute, and we've incorporated that in the draft agreement, you will pick that up. So the net benefits of this agreement are about $11 million. over the time, it actually exceeds the benefit to the company in terms of this, just due to the math. We highly recommend your consideration and adoption of this.
I have a question. In summary, rough off top of your head, we're looking at about 11 million?
Yes, sir.
About 11. So in the course of, what is it, 15, 20 years?
It's about, the $11 million will pay off essentially from the period from 2023 through 2031. That's because the project isn't going to get built immediately. The project is not going to go on, it's currently estimated to go on the tax rolls in the 22-23 school year. Now, let me say those are projections. The words on the paper and the spreadsheet that is in front of you is based on the assumptions that the company made. The words on the paper in the actual agreement is that it will go into effect when the property is built. So if it happens a year earlier or something of that nature, the agreement will adjust. That's with respect to this whole printout. It is premised on a $5.485 tax rate, which is your current tax rate. If you adjust that, and you might, either up or down because of this automatic compression thing, or your ability to raise within limited amounts under House Bill 3, we will use the actual tax rates. We will use actual student counts for each year of the agreement. This is just a projection so that you can kind of see generally how the system works. But for each year of the agreement, we will make a calculation and ensure that you don't lose any money, and then you get 50% of the net benefit.
Okay, if there's no more questions, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion for approval on this one.
Well, as part of public hearing, we have to see if there's anybody from the public on this matters of application for La Jolla Wind Power LCs. If there's any comments or questions.
Okay, so then my sole move will be for approval, and that to include items 10, 11, 12, and 13.
Madam President, just make sure we close the public hearing.
Let me just close the public hearing at 7:31. And your motion was for which items? Number? 10,
To
11,
approve
12,
9,
13.
and because all the next 10, 11, 12, and 13
Okay.
are,
That's correct.
what is it that they
10
need
through
for this to
13.
go forward?
Okay.
Yes.
So I entertain a motion by Mr. Salinas. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We move on to item number 27, 2020 summer school programs. Do I entertain a motion?
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussions? All in favor? Those against? Motion passes. Acceptance of donation from Copy Plus LLC for teaching and educational supplies.
Also move.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. We will move on to, under instruction, public hearing of item number 29 for the academic performance report. It is now 7:33 p.m. and we are opening up this portion of our meeting as a public hearing on this matter.
Well, good evening, Madam President, Ms. Ochoa, board members, and Dr. Sainz. This presentation is required by law. The required components are included. To begin, it is in your presentation. I don't know why it's not displaying up here. But La Jolla ISD is accredited for the 2018-2019 school year. That's on page 3 of the presentation. On page 4, La Jolla ISD scored a B with an 88 in 2019. That was 2 points better than in 2018. Accountability ratings for the schools. Thank you. Either way, this one's good too. The camera's good. Yeah. Camera's over here. All right, sorry about that. And so all the campuses got C or better. Nobody got a D, which that's good news. If we can continue that, we can work towards an A, we hope. In La Jolla ISD, we had 27,998 students last year, mostly Hispanic students. Most of the students were English language learners, more than at the region level or the state level. Most of the students were economically disadvantaged at a higher rate than at the region and state level. And then our star performance as a school district, we have at the approaches grade level, which is like passing. You can see our strength was in mathematics, where we were 2 points above the state, 1 point below the region. On the next page, we have the meets level, which is scoring at a higher rate, which students that score at this level have like a 60% chance of passing their freshman level courses in college. You can see there that mathematics, again, is a strength, and writing is also a strength. On the next page, on page 11, these are students who scored at the highest level on the STAR test. Again, we showed strength in mathematics and in writing. And I'm just going to highlight a few pages. On page 23, you see there approved industry-based certifications for our annual graduates for the class of 2018, where La Jolla ISD had 22%, which is significantly higher than the state and the region of students who earn certificates where they're ready to maybe go to work right after high school. And then we have a section of the report where it's showing what are called distinction designations for our schools, where our schools are compared to other schools that are like them. So any distinction is considered great performance by the campus. You can see there, like La Jolla High School got a distinction in math. Palmview got 5 distinctions. Our middle schools also did very well. They earned many distinctions, so they compare very favorably against other schools like them. And our elementary schools also earned quite a few distinctions. The next section of the report contains performance goals, performance objectives, showing how we performed for the past 2 years, plus targets for the 2020 school year, for the district and for the campuses. So there's a few pages of that. And then there's a section that shows how our students, our graduates from La Jolla, how they're doing in college, how many of them scored at each GPA level, and some of them are not trackable. So the state is still working on improving how we're able to track students beyond high school. The next section of the report contains financial data, which Mr. Trevino informed me that has been presented to you all in the past. So after that, after a few pages of that, on page 41, we have a report prepared by Student Services on violent and criminal incidents as required by the law. And finally, this report will be available on the La Jolla website. And several of the reports that are in here are available on the TEA website. And the last part of the report is in the format which the state publishes it, which is a lot of data. So there's just rows and rows of data. So at this time, I would open it up to any questions from the board.
Yes, as part of public hearing, we entertain any comments or questions from the public at this time? From our board? If not, I will close this public hearing at 7:39. Thank you, Dr. Rivera.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera.
We'll move on to human resources. We are now on item number 1 on human resources. This is a public hearing and payment in excess of contractual amount. It is now 7:39 p.m., and we are opening up this portion of our meeting as a public hearing on this matter.
Dr. Science, can you break it down for the public?
Yes, this payment in excess of contractual amount is for a counselor. It's for the amount of $2,400 for supervising dual credit students taking night classes in our teaching center with SDC.
As public hearing, we entertain any comments from the public on this matter regarding the payment in excess of contractual amount. Do we have any comments or questions from the public or hear from the board?
If there's no questions or comments, I'll so move.
If not, I will, it is now 7:40. And I will close this and not proceed to the next item on the posted agenda. There is no line for action on that.
On this public hearing?
It was just a public hearing. There's no need for approval. It's just a public hearing. But thank you, Mr. Salinas.
Okay.
We are now on item number 2 on human resources, public hearing and payment of access of contractual amount. It is now 7:41
You do have to approve.
p.m.
SB, you do have to approve.
To approve the amount.
Okay, let me go back.
I think you have to go back to 29 as well.
Well, this one.
No,
One
just
you did.
number 1.
Just number
Okay.
one,
So
yes.
public hearing approval of salary adjustments for human resources, number 1. Coach, you did an approval?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Second was Armin. I have a motion. Do I have a second? All those in discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, so now we are on item number 2 on human resources, public hearing and payment in excess of contractual amount. It is 7:42.
This payment in excess of contractual amount is for 7 career and technical education teachers from different high schools, $500 each for offering an additional course for student industry-based certification.
Any comments from the public? Board? If not, I will close at 7:42 for the public hearing, and payment of access of contractual amount has come to a close. We will now proceed with a motion to
I'll second.
have a motion, have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Request additional full-time equivalent FTE position of Police Department Narcotics Investigator.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion?
I just want to make the point that this position is for the 2020-21 school year, and it is in regards to the MOU that Chief Gonzalez talked about.
Saying that, we do have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the board? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. It is now 7:43 p.m., and we will move into executive session under Texas Government Code 551071, 551072, 551074. It is now 7:43. You're out of executive session at 8:52.
Madam President, I think it's item, I get you. That would be number 5, right? Number 5. I'd like to make motions, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 as discussed in executive session.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
On item number 5, Madam President, I'd like to authorize legal counsel to file a lawsuit against insurance broker / agent of record for breach of contract.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
I'll abstain on that one.
I abstain as well.
Motion passes. We adjourn at 8:53.